Hey, what's up, guys? So, April is an Autism Awareness Month. So, considering that, I have decided to create a tutorial regarding this theme. So, in this video, we are going to create a jigsaw repeating pattern inside Affinity Designer. Actually, the jigsaw puzzle pieces repeating pattern. And towards the end of the video, I will also show you how you can incorporate this pattern in your autism related design. So, if you are interested in that, let's get started. So here I have opened up my Affinity Designer software, and let's create new document by going to the file, new, and it will give us this new document window. So what we want to select is a square shaped document. So I have selected 1200 points by 1200 points. I usually work in points units, so you can use any of the units that you like, but I prefer this one. And also here I would like to give you a warning, or you can say alert you here, that this is going to use a little bit of math. So if you use different units of or different numbers, that might get confusing for you. So if you just want to follow along, make sure that you use the same units and it's the same numbers that I am using in this video. So I have used 1200 by 1200 pixel, and the DPI I want 300 because I'm going to use it for print on demand purpose. And the units is in points. We need transparent background, or you can use any background, that's totally up to you. And rest of the thing will be this as it. We do not want any margins or bleed. So let's click create, and let's start by creating a square shape. So on the left hand side, I'm going to use this rectangle tool, and I'm going to create a square or rectangle. It doesn't matter. If you hold the shift key, it will give you a perfect square shape, not a rectangular shape. So this is how it is. So let's just move actually use the move tool, that is this black arrow tool, and bring it at the center. It should snap here somewhere. Actually, if it doesn't snap anyway, so let's just use this align tool and bring it at the center. Now we are going to use this transform panel that is here towards the right at the bottom. If it is not visible, you can go to the view studio and make sure that this transform is ticked. So I'm going to use this transform panel. Currently the size of the square is actually 421 by 421. We need it to be multiple in a way that it is we get 1200 as a multiple of this. So as we have created 1200 by 1200 points document, so we need something that can be multiplied to give us 1200. So 200 multiplied by 6 is 1200, 300 multiplied by 4 is 1200, 400 multiplied by 3 is going to give us 1200. So something that is going to give us the same size of the document. So I'm going to choose 200 by 200 pixel actually points. So this is the size of our square. Now by default your this you can say this mapping tool, whatever that is called, is going to be selected at this area, maybe this white pixel here. So we want to select the center part. So I'm going to click the center area, and now you can see that the center square is a little bit bigger than the rest of them. Still this corner is the white area, but that does not give us any problem. So once you select this center area, you will see that the x and y axis are going to be 600 by 600, and that is going to be very important in the next some steps of creating this actually this puzzle repeating pattern. Okay, now let's just zoom in, and I'm going to create a stroke around it, and I'm going to choose 2-point stroke, and by default it's black color, and that is fine. And I do not want any kind of fill color at this moment, so I'm going to cancel any of the fill color here. And let's just create a copy of this rectangle by pressing Ctrl C and Ctrl V. And the bottom rectangle or the square shape, we are going to lock it and then hide it. And let's work on this this rectangle shape. Now one thing you should note, that these are all of the shapes that are present here are not curves or vector. Actually they are vector, but they are not curves. And for that purpose, what we need to do is that we need to convert them into curves. So at the top you will see this option, convert to curves. So once I click that, now all of these points are editable, the corners are editable, we can move them independently. And for that purpose I'm going to use this a tool, node tool, and I'm going to select this center area here. I think we should have this snapping option turn, or all of these options turned. You can make sure that you have this snapping turn on, and everything else that thing might be good to go. And let's just click at the center. Once you move your cursor towards the center, you will automatically see these guides which will give you an idea that it is at the center. So I'm just going to click here, and I'm going to move it slightly down, just slightly down here. Okay, like this one. It doesn't matter how many pixels you move, but it should be just slight. Let's make it perfect by maybe 507. I think that's okay. So now that we have moved it a little bit down, we want to convert it into a smooth corner, not currently it is a hard corner. We do not want that, and for that purpose we use this option that is called the smooth. Now it is smooth out, and next what we want is we want to create a circular shape. So we're going to use this ellipse tool, and we are going to create a circle. It does not have to be perfect circle, but I like it to be perfect, so I'm going to press shift key and make it somewhat a little bit bigger circle here. It doesn't matter what size you want. So once you bring it at the top, you will see that it snaps to the borders of your square and at the center as well. Let's just make it a little smaller, something like that would be fine, I think. So that's fine. We can move it a little down by pressing the down arrow key, and this looks fine, I think. Okay, now that we have created a circle and a curved shape, now we choose both of these shapes in the layer panel, the square curve shape and then the circular shape. And the top we are going to do is that we are going to subtract it. This second option, we are going to subtract it, and it has given us one side of our you can say the puzzle piece. You can see that it is reaching at that point where we can create a single puzzle piece from it. And in order to make it uniform, what we want is that we want to repeat the same thing, same circular, same, and you can say the boundary area, this curve and everything on all other sides. So for that purpose, what I'm going to do is just use this node tool, and I'm going to select these two nodes and press delete. What it does is that it deletes those nodes, and still as our shape is a closed shape, that is why we are going to get this curve at the top. So what we want is that we want to break this you can say the shape. So I'm going to select either this one or this one. It totally depends upon you, this node. So once I have selected this node, at the top I have this action next to it, which is that break curve. So once we click it, it has a broken our curve, and we can move it independently. And what we can do, let's just zoom in a bit, and again with the node tool I'm going to select this curve shape, and we do not want to mess with this thing at the moment. So I'm going to select this one, this node area, and press delete, and then select this one and then press delete. And as we have moved this node, which is not a right idea, and because of that we have created already have this rectangular shape. So I'm going to make it reappear, select this curve and move it at this area again. All right, and now what we want is that we want to hide it for the moment, and we want to create a copy of this side area. So let's say press Ctrl C and Ctrl V, and let's just unhide this back area as well, and let's just bring it down. So as our snapping options are checked, it is that is why it is snapping to the borders of this thing. And let's just flip it vertically, and again move it down towards the top, and again it snaps to the border of this background rectangle or square shape. And let's just select both of these curves and then create copy of this by pressing Ctrl C and Ctrl V. And now let's just rotate it. Now we have all of the four sides of the puzzle, but the problem is these two sides are inward. These should have been on the outside as well. on the outside. So it's pretty simple. We just select this one and flip it horizontally and then move it at the edge, and same case with this one, we can move it towards the edge. Now we do not want this background rectangle, we can hide it. Now you can see that we have created a perfect puzzle piece. Now the problem is that each and every shape, each and every curve is on a different layer, but we want it to be a uniform. So we can group it together, but that doesn't work for me. So I can just make this whole thing a single shape. So for that purpose I need to select this white node tool or white arrow tool and select two of these layers, this corner. So once I've selected this, at the top on the action, what we want is that we want to join the curves. So once I've clicked join, it has merged them together into single thing, and the same thing we are going to do with this curve. This where this one, and then this one. Okay, so select both of these, highlight this corner area and then again join curves. Same thing with this one, we have to select this layer and this one and then join area. Now at this area, this one is currently not joined, so we need to join it as well, and currently it is a single layer, so we can simply join curves here as well. So once they are joined, you can see that it's no more separate and it is joined. So once our puzzle piece is ready, I think we should just save the document so that it does not accidentally lost during any kind of crash. Okay, now that our puzzle piece is ready, it is now time to repeat this thing across all of our document. So before I do that, I want to color it and then move it at the corner. So let's just maybe for a moment color it with any random color. Let's maybe red color, and then select this puzzle piece. So now it's time to do some kind of mathematical work here, and for that purpose we are going to use this transform panel. Currently it is at 600 points and 600 points on the x-axis. We need it to be at the corner. Now as you remember that our document is 1200 points, so which means that if we remove this to be point x-axis to be 0 and y-axis to be 0, it will be at this corner. So now our puzzle piece is at the corner. Now let's just create a copy of this one and paste it. So Control C and Control V, it has created a copy and pasted it. Let's just change the color of fill to maybe yellowish or something like that. So it's a fill color now change. Now we can just simply rotate it by pressing the shift key, and we have rotated it 90 degrees, or you can use the transform panel to rotate it. That totally depends upon you. Okay, now that it has rotated, but before doing any of this movement and here, make sure that this center square is checked. It is bigger than the rest of one, because it's very important. If this one is not checked, it will mess up your repeating pattern. You will get some kind of edges or something like that. Okay, now it's clear. Now you remember that the initial square, this one that we have created, was 200 by 200, and that is very important to remember that, because we want to move it towards the right of this thing, and if we put on the x-axis 200, it is at the edges. You can see that perfectly aligning it with the previous piece of our puzzle. So that is why it is very important to use the perfect you can say mathematical numbers, multiples of this document, whatever you want to call it. Okay, now it's the rest of the thing is just repeating this thing again and again and filling it out the rest of the document. So as an example, I'm going to just copy it and paste it, maybe change its color again. You can change the colors at the later stages, that is not really necessary. Okay, now that we have changed the color, it's time to rotate it, maybe rotate it back to the 90 degrees. And now instead of 200, we add an additional 200. So 200 plus 200 is going to give us 400. So now it is moved at the 400, and again it is at the perfect alignment with the previous piece. Again, we can just copy it, paste it, and again rotate it, and maybe change the color again. That totally depends upon you how many colors you want in your puzzle piece. I think this one look good, maybe bluish, something like that. Okay, again we need to add 200 to this one, so 400 plus 200 is going to give us 600, and again it has moved perfectly on the other side. We are going to once again create a copy of it and rotate it a little bit, again 90 degrees, and again we're going to add 600 plus 200 is going to give us 800. And in the same way we can just change this color back, and maybe we can just use this color panel. So I'm going to use this color picker tool, and I'm going to select this red color and again fill it with this red one. So, and again let's just maybe just fill it with yellow color, because there is something that we need to keep in mind, and I'm going to tell you a little bit now. So let's just copy it and again paste it and rotate it, and again add 200 to this one. It is going to give us 1000. So 1000 this one, let's just color it maybe with green, okay, like that. And again we are going to create copy of this, paste it, and it's going to move it again. So 1000 plus 200 is going to give us 1200. Now make sure that the color of everything that is going beyond the edges of your document is the same, and that is the color on the other side. So this one is red in color, so you want this one to be red in color as well. So this is perfect now. Okay, now that we have created one line or layer of this thing, of the puzzle pieces, we can just simply select all of these and then copy it on the other sides of this our document. Let's just hide this color panel, and I'm going to select all of the puzzle pieces, and in this transform panel you can see that x-axis is at the center. So the center area of all of these is at the 600. So 600 is actually the center point of the 1200 this by 1200 documents. So what we can do is that now we can move down. Okay, so we already know that the original shape was 200 by 200s. So what we can do is that on the y-axis we can move it to the 200. Okay, we do not want to change the x-axis, we still want to keep it at the center. So actually we have to create a copy of this one first. So let's just undo it and create a copy of this, paste it, and now let's add 200 to the y-axis. Okay, now it has moved down, but the problem is that it does not fit perfectly here. So for that purpose what we need is that we need to slightly move it on the right side as well. So for that purpose we are going to move it on this x-axis. We are going to add 200 to it as well. So 600 and let's say plus 200 is going to give us 800, and now that you can see that our pieces perfectly fit together. Okay, but the problem here is that we have no piece here on this side of this thing. So it's pretty simple. We're just going to select this one, copy it, paste it, and move it on the other side. Now as the document edges is 1200, we can simply make x-axis. So 1200 minus 1200 is going to give us 0. We can simply put 0 here, and it is perfectly on the other side. Now there is one puzzle piece on this edge area, we do not want it. We can simply just delete it. Now it is perfectly, now that we can select all of these things. Okay, all of these things here. Now one thing that you might notice here is that our x-axis is actually 600, the center point is at 600, but the y center point is not at 200, it is at 100, and that is because the center point of these two is this line. Okay, so that line is at 100 point, because the whole square shape is 200, but half of the square shape is 100, so this area is half, and that is why it is at 100. So don't worry about that. Okay, now that we have created actually selected all of these two layers, we can simply copy and paste it. So simply copy, paste it, and now what we want is that we want to move it on the y-axis. Okay, so let's just add maybe, I think we can add 200 to it, and let's see if that works. 200 or 300. So 200 plus 100, let's just add plus 200. Okay, and it has moved down, and this doesn't work because it is still overlapping. So let's just add maybe 400, make it 400. Okay, and it still doesn't work. Let's just add 100 more, so it maybe 500, and that is perfect now. Okay, you can see that it fits perfectly. So initially it was 100 and we added 400 to it because now we have two layers. Okay, so I actually forgot about that. So now we have two layers and both of those layers are 200 wide, so we added 200 to actually 400 to it. Now that we have our this puzzle piece here, actually layer here, we can simply copy it and paste it again, and again we can add 400 to it because 400 plus 500 plus 400 is going to give us 900, and it is perfectly on this side. Now the only layer left here is this last one, and for that purpose we can select this first layer. Okay, and simply copy it, paste it and move it down. Now as the document size is 1200, we can simply on the y-axis make it 1200, and it is perfect. Now you can see that this corner is red, this one and this one, all the corners are red, and it is a perfect repeating pattern. Now the only thing left is here is that for you to change the color of any particular square, anything that you might want. So I might change the color of this one and make it slightly bluish, something like that, light blue. And for that purpose we have to change the color of this edge piece as well to the same one that we have done. And actually the tutorial is almost finished now. We do not want to make it much longer here. At this point we can just simply change the colors to anything. Okay, and that totally depends upon you how many colors you want and how many different things you want. The only thing that you should keep in mind is, and you should actually be careful about, is that if any change you change the color of any piece, you can say any piece that is going beyond the edges of it and of your document, make sure that the same color appears on the other side of it. Okay, so if this one is green and if I change it to maybe slightly pinkish, something like that, maybe orangish, and the same color should appear on this piece as well. And for that purpose we can use this color picker tool, pick this color and then click again, and it is going to give us the same thing. Okay, now all of the square shape and the perfect things are puzzle pieces are fit together and the repeating pattern is ready. Now the only thing is left is that we can export it in the form of a PNG. And by the way, I'm not satisfied with these colors. I might change it later on, but for now let's just go to the file and export it as a PNG image. So file, export, I'm going to choose this PNG, and it's going to give us 5000 by 5000 pixel and everything is perfect. Okay, now how we can use this pattern inside our design. Let's just let me show you just an example. So I'm going to create file, new document, and I'm going to choose inches in this case because I'm going to maybe create a t-shirt design for Much by Amazon. So that is I think 15 by 18 inches, and let's just create. Okay, let's just type a simple word, maybe I must select this artistic text tool. Let's just put autism here. Maybe let's just increase its size a little bit, maybe change the font to a bolder version. Okay, this is a pretty bold font now, I think, just to show you. And let's just maybe change the background color to be black because just so you can see that it looks good on black shirts or black whatever you want to call it, designs, black products. So we have selected this our text tool, and what we need is that we can create a square shape here. And let's just go to the fill tool. Where is the fill tool? Here. Okay, let's use the fill tool, and instead of the solid type we can select this bitmap and select that PNG image that we just exported. Once that PNG image is loaded, it is going to give us into this puzzle piece. We can just scale it down, and you can easily see that it is repeating pattern. There are no visible edges here, so I think this size looks fine. And what we can do is that we can make it a child of our what's that called, our text here. Let me choose just this one and make it a child of our text. Okay, now you can see that our word is filled with this puzzle piece. We can still go to this rectangle shape, use the fill tool and scale our pattern according to our requirement. We will rotate it as well. So that totally depends upon you, and you can easily create different design and different graphic works using this repeating pattern. So this is how you can create a jigsaw puzzle pieces repeating pattern inside Affinity Designer. Now hopefully you have found this tutorial and these tips to be useful, and in the next week maybe in the next few days I will also create a tutorial based on the Adobe Illustrator as well, using creating the same repeating puzzle pattern, and it is very easy in Adobe Illustrator as compared to in this Affinity Designer, because there are some tools that are not present here. So if you want to know about that, you can subscribe to this channel and don't forget to press that bell icon so that you can instantly get notified about that future video or any of my future videos as well. And once again, if you just like this video and comment below, it will help me with the YouTube algorithm to reach more viewers who are interested in the same topics. And that's all for now, and thank you for watching.